Okay, so Renata,
Yes.
thanks so much for joining us. To kick things off, can you tell us a bit about yourself? How long you've been in real estate, the area you work in, and what kind of properties you typically focus on?
Okay. So I've been in the industry for just over 20 years. I started my career off in Plettenberg Bay. Then I worked in Cape Town, southern suburbs. And I went back to Plet, and now I'm back in the southern suburbs. My focus here is purely sectional title because there's so many of them, and to me it's a much easier product to sell. They move quicker. And also, when you're doing CMAs or valuations, then it's pretty easy. It's not a garden with a porch, and then you maybe have a pool or that kind of thing. And there are some amazing sectional titles in the southern suburbs, and that's pretty much where my focus is.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I mean, I know that you moved when you joined us. What was it, about 6 months ago or so? You were originally in Plet when you joined, and now you're back in the southern suburbs.
That's
How's that transition been?
very good, because it's a bigger pool. And also, there is more. Look, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game, and it is a city. Cape Town is huge. The southern suburbs is massive compared to Plet as a total village, although it's absolutely beautiful. Also, the reason why I moved, I felt I was a bit too young to retire. I find a lot of people come to Plet to retire, and then your stock also moves slower because people come to live to retire, and then when they eventually die, then the kids take their houses over. So it's not fast spinners, it's not quick sales. It's like, you might sell one big house in 2 years, because the person's either died or they're moving on or
Yeah.
scaling. So of course in the southern suburbs, Cape Town, your pool is much bigger.
Yeah, and the market is a lot faster, like you say. It's
Absolutely.
a larger market to
Right,
pull.
right.
Yeah, and sectional title is a big market in that area.
Yes, and also, but what I find with the southern suburbs, there's a lot of little, could you say, agency. So there's a lot more agencies, and that's why you have to, as an agent, you have to be on the cutting edge. And I find that with property funnels, I'm definitely on the cutting edge.
That's good to hear. I like to hear that. So before let's maybe take a step back 6 months ago or so. So before using our WhatsApp database reactivation system, that's what we call it because it is about reactivating
Right.
inactive databases. So what was your process like when you were staying in touch and prospecting at the time? Was it mainly cold
Yeah,
calls or
mainly
what other
mainly
systems did you use?
cold calls and of course emails. But I just find emails, people don't really answer emails. I think, a few years ago, the email campaigns were like a big major thing. But I just find people that I'll say, listen, I sent you an email, and they go, oh no, well, I didn't see it. But look, so to me, I've always loved the concept of WhatsApp. And when it first came out, I would say maybe 3 years ago, could it be? Yeah, 3, 4 years ago, when Meta really went into majorly with their WhatsApp campaigns. I then joined a group in America. I don't even know where they are, an overseas company, and they kind of like, because I always felt that WhatsApp is in your face as a person. It's much easier access. It's quick little messages. You don't have to write a whole thesis, and that is what really appealed to me, because me as a consumer, I enjoyed the fact that it's quick and easy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's convenient as well
Absolutely.
for both you and for the consumer receiving the
Right.
message because I mean, we've seen it on your own campaigns. I mean, campaigns that went out. I think there was a case in January. Somebody we sent to one of your lists. I can't remember which one, and then I think the person replied in March. So sometimes it's not always immediate response, but it lives on their phone, and when they're ready, they typically respond.
Yes, and that I found interesting. Obviously, subsequently, I then used the system overseas and your system, and then I decided now I'm going to purely go onto your system, and I'll add more money per month, because it is you've got to pay for what you're doing. And I mean, you can always explain that to people in more detail. But I then, with my previous system, if I never got people responding 2 months in a time. Maybe if they get the message in January, they only respond in March. So I don't know how their system works, but what I like about your system is, like you said, if the person is ready, they're going to respond to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't speak on other people's systems, but I found that interesting that it's because if you were doing cold call solely and you phoned and they didn't pick up, chances are very high that they probably would not return your call,
Oh,
and you might have missed the opportunity to talk to that
totally.
person, and it could have been a person that wanted to sell or find out some more information about what it is that you do and how you can help them.
Absolutely. Look, I do believe that there is a space for calling. But what I love about the WhatsApp campaign, so what I do is when I've sent out a WhatsApp campaign, after I've sent it out, then I will call people. Because what I find is then a soft call. They've already seen me on their phone. They recognize my brand, like, hey man, yeah. And I'd hear people say, yes, yes, no, I received your message. I just didn't get time to answer, but yes, I am interested, or no, I'm not. I'm not selling at this point. So when you call, it definitely is a soft call.
Absolutely. And I think it's that memory recall. And I mean, it's almost like it's what's that word where people reciprocate goodwill, right? So you WhatsApp them, and then when you phone them, they almost feel maybe a little bit guilty for not
Yes, yes,
responding to the
yes,
WhatsApp,
yes.
as opposed to the other way around where they feel aggrieved by receiving a call out of the
Yeah.
blue when they were busy with other
And
things.
you look, and no matter how nice and kind you are, and also the fact that on our WhatsApp campaigns, we say, look, if you don't want to receive any messages, you can opt out. So we're very clear in our communication, but you'll always find some nasty people. And often I say there's only 10 nasty people in the world, but they seem to move around quite a bit. So you don't take it personal and you just go on, you just carry on because it's a numbers game at the end of the day.
It is a numbers game. So maybe speaking on the WhatsApp experience with property funnels, you've been using us for about 6 months now. You did come from a previous system, and now you've put all your eggs into one basket. So what initially made you want to try property funnels WhatsApp?
Okay, so I was introduced to you even before that with our CEO from We Trade Property, Wendy, and I first thought, oh no, it's local. I mean, come on, how can you compare with the overseas people? And I kept going with my system, my overseas system. And then the one day she came to Plett and she said, Renata, you really need to tap into this. And I said, okay, well, tell me more about it. I thought, oh God, now I've got to redo everything. And it's a big job. Doing basically getting your database ready is a big job. I mean, let's face it,
Mm.
that but if your database is well done and there and you plug it into your system, then it works. So I thought, okay, fine, let me try it. And then I was blown away. Number one is the fact that I could WhatsApp you if I had a problem. I didn't have to go through I didn't have to go speak to someone from China or from Belgium. I could directly go to you and say, listen, David, I've got a problem with this. Can you help me? And within a few seconds, you would help. So um, I believe your local system for South Africans, well, for me personally, I think you compete with the world. You definitely do. And I've just felt that my any issues that I had, I was able to immediately have it sorted out. And that is just absolutely a no-brainer to me.
Well, that's good to hear. No, that's fantastic to hear. Thanks, Renata. And it's also easy to work with people that are prepared to still put in the work on their
Yeah,
side too.
yeah.
So I mean, it's as much from our side and your side. It's a joint effort.
I sometimes wonder if you've like cloned yourself because you seem to always respond, and I know that you're extremely busy, but it is a system that works. And I tell you what, it's just a no-brainer to be able to if you are a serious agent and I mean, we've all got databases. And you've got to tweak your database here and there to fit in with your system, but that's no big deal. And I listened to your advice and I've seen the results, and it's just to me it's the future.
So then let's speak some results, because I know you've gotten some results and we've tried different things and some of them have worked really well. Sometimes things come out of the woodwork that weren't intended, but they come out nonetheless for good stuff. So maybe just can you give us some of your results that you've seen? So in terms of mandates,
Okay.
listings, actual
So my
sales that came
Yes,
directly.
okay. So my normal campaign, as you know, we would offer people a CMA to see what your property is worth. And then of course the picture does say, do you want to sell? So we're not selling something that we're not doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy.
Yeah.
People will then come back and say, no, we don't want to sell, but we're curious. Now, so by all means, let's do a comparative market analysis. And in that way, I've been able to befriend people, to talk to people, and I've been able to get mandates in that way. But specifically, we did a campaign in George, of all places, because my aunt lives there, and a client came and said, "Listen, I've got 4 million rand cash. I want to buy in this estate. I don't want to stay anywhere else but in this estate." So I came to you and said, listen, can we do direct marketing in that way? And you said, absolutely. And we worked on an ad. And I tell you what, we got such good response. So at the end of the day, I actually got 2 listings out of that campaign. And obviously, when you do a campaign like that, you have to have the client that has the 4 million to spend. Now, you can't
Yeah.
say, oh, we have a client, because a lot of agents say, oh, I've got a client that wants to spend 5 million. And then you find out they just really wanted to get a listing. So we had the listing, we had the client, we were able to have a sold mandate, and we were able to sell. So it's just wonderful that you can do direct for a direct client, or have the direct, you can tweak it according to what you need because you've got the database.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's sometimes we get stuck on a one-trick pony, right? So maybe we just think that we can only do one thing.
Right.
But when you're creative, you can really do just about anything, just based on what's going to turn the needle in your favor in your business at that particular time. And I mean, I, I do know Nicolene Hamerty from Reti. She always talks about cold calling as now business, but I believe WhatsApp falls right in
Oh,
that same
totally.
category. It's now business
Absolutely.
through and through.
Absolutely. Look, when people, I personally think the system works so well because not everybody wants to talk to you, but they will speak to you over WhatsApp. And I find is when people want something, I'll speak over WhatsApp. And then when I realize, hey, this is a hot one, then I will give them a call. But I find in general,
Perfect.
people love to talk over WhatsApp. And then I use that app on the phone. Is it the lead?
Lead connector, yes.
That's amazing. So that's how I communicate. I don't actually use it. I don't go into the system on the computer. I use that as an app on my phone, and that is just amazing. It's all part of your system, and it works extremely well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the point is you can send voice notes, you can send attachments, you can, stay on track
Yeah,
with
it's
conversations,
like
and as a conversation comes in, you're notified,
it's
right?
like a WhatsApp within a WhatsApp. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, with your entire database in there, which you can't do on a normal
No,
WhatsApp. Yeah.
never,
No,
never. Because
absolutely.
sometimes when people like say, listen, this is what we want to do, then I can go onto their name, then I can say additional information and can say, oh, it's a 3 bed, it's a 120 square meters. Oh, it's a nice big apartment. So you immediately you can, when you speak to the person and you're on your phone, you can immediately say, okay, look, it's 103 square meters. Can you just confirm how many beds and bedrooms? Because you don't always know that. And when you're doing a CMA or comparative market analysis, it's nice to have information so that people can think, hey man, listen, they know what they're talking about. Meanwhile, you kind of like getting information from them, but you've got quite a bit of information already.
So what is your advice then when it comes to, I mean, people do valuations. I mean, you get a lot of, especially young rookie agents, they'll do like a month or two of valuations, but they never ever get a conversion. What is the difference between what are the secrets that you do that you can give advice to others that are prepared to do the valuation, but I mean, nobody ever wants to do the valuation without the result of getting the mandate. That's the intention of offering this
Yeah.
service. So maybe just some advice there that would help whether people sign up for us or not, just some general advice that you've seen work well for you in your business that you're prepared to
Yeah,
share.
of course. So what I do is I obviously when I do get someone that says yes, they want a free valuation or not, when they say a free, what do we say? A free,
Market comparative
yes,
market
they want a
analysis.
free little, yeah. So then what I'll do is I'll have a color code on my spreadsheet. So I'll make it yellow. And then I'll know, then I ask him for the email address, because it is nicer to put a big document on email, and then I do a whole spread. I even do our company profile and the whole thing. And very few people will respond to that email. Some of them will say, yes, thank you, or not, I'm not sending, but very few will respond to that email. So then what I do is I'll go back in a week's time and I'll say, hi, Mr. Then I will phone and speak to them personally. I'll say, listen, we've done a CMA for you. I just want to confirm that you received it. And most of them will say, yes, that we have, or some of them will say, no, we haven't. And meanwhile, I know it went through. Then they'll say, okay, please send it again. Then I send it again, and then I'll follow up. So you've got to keep following up, because people are like sheep. Unless you put a nice green grass in front of them, they're not going to eat. They're not going to bite. So you've got to put a little carrot in front of them. So I have found that once you've done your valuation, you've sent it out, you need to follow up with a phone call. Or I've also done this in the past. I've followed up with a WhatsApp and maybe put a nice little screenshot of something, and then people respond. And in that way too, I've been able to get upsell mandates and then ultimately sell.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the key here, right? So I think people are maybe like sheep, but sometimes they're like goldfish too.
Yeah.
So attention spans are short and distractions are many. So they are interested in it right now, but then something happens and they completely forget what they were
Yeah,
doing 2 minutes
that
ago.
is true. And also I've got this three tier that I'll say is, it's prospecting, which is a WhatsApp campaign. Then there is presenting, which is your CMA, and then there is the key, is the follow-up.
Yeah.
So you either follow up through another WhatsApp message, or you follow up through a phone call. So it's never for naught. Some people say, oh, no, I was just curious. And then you say, great, but you know that your branding is in front of them. You know that your face is on their WhatsApp. You know that your face is on their email. So, and also through your system, you send out emails for property anniversaries and also birthdays. So it's something that just keeps going. People will know, hey man, no, they said happy birthday to me. Oh, how nice, So, and also property anniversaries. I think that's also quite important. And at the end of the day, it is a numbers game, but I have seen results. It's not just something you do in the air or because you've got nothing else to do. There are results, most definitely.
Fantastic. And then for agents who are sitting on big databases, I mean, sometimes people own their database that they've built up over many years. Sometimes they're acquiring it through like a Lightstone or CMA Info. They're downloading databases, but they're not doing anything with it. So it's a glorified spreadsheet. So what would your advice be to people like that in context of our WhatsApp reactivation system?
Well, first of all, what have you got to lose? You can only gain. And why not use a system that has been proven, a system that works, and a system that gets results? It is just like, let them give me a call, because I'll tell you what, I'll be able to convince them to sign up, because there are results. Why have this massive database? It's really just a white elephant if you're not using it. And WhatsApp campaigns is the way to go.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see that in my own business and I see it time and time again. But again, it comes down to what you put in is also what you get
Absolutely.
out, right? So you have to still put in some work, you have to put in data. It's still gonna take some time and some effort from you, and make sure that you're as responsive as possible. And I mean, if I look at the way you perform, people respond and you are quick off the mark to get back to them, because I guess they're the hottest when they've responded. If you wait a day, you lose that interest that was initially
You
generated.
use that momentum. So that it is important that you have the app on your phone, so that, say for instance, you are somewhere else and you're not at your computer, you can immediately answer people. And you've got all the information, the additional information that because my spreadsheets, as have you seen, as you know, are quite intense. It's got everything in it. Just the only thing I don't have are people's blood group. But other than that, I've got the section numbers, I've got the door numbers, the parking, I've got which area, I've got sale date, I've got what they paid for it, you know. So it's just more, the more information, the better. So that when you do look at a prospecting person, you can have a lot of knowledge and a lot of specs right on your app. So it's just phenomenal.
I think this just brings me almost towards the closing of this quick session with you. So, any personal tips, and I think that falls right in, right? So the more you enrich the data, the more you have at your disposal when you're talking to somebody, right?
Correct, correct. So I would say fundamentally, and it's going to take time, but it's okay. You know, we've got time. Maybe you must watch less TV and certain things. So number one, you've got to get your database up and running. And then when you plug into property funnels, you need to make sure that all the boxes are ticked, that they all that all your information is brought in properly, and that you don't have corrupt spreadsheets. So it's very important that you understand the system, and it's not that hard. I mean, I'm not the brightest tool in the box, but I can tell you I follow instructions. At times, I would make a total mess, and then I would phone you and say, David, please delete it. And then we would start over again. And also, you've given advice, like, for instance, first names. Make sure it's not all in capitals. It just makes a difference with your presentation that, you know, like I say, and once the data is in, it's in. Your job is done. Then you can go on to the next block or onto the next street. And once the data is in, it is in.
Absolutely. And then maybe in closing, how would you sum up your experience with property funnels as a system in one sentence, maybe?
It's a no-brainer. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's a system I absolutely love, and I would like to invest more money in bigger campaigns. But I do believe you've got to take one step at a time. It's like this massive elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And this system allows a person to do that. You can grow in the system. And also the tools that you've given us, and the technology, I love it. And every now and then I come onto the dashboard and think, oh God, it's changed. Then I realize, listen, you must never be scared of change. The reason why things change is because you're bettering the system. And I've never had a problem that the system's been down and that I couldn't use it, or I had something go wrong. It's always worked, and it's always been absolutely a pleasure. I love it, must because I love this technology. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite thing in my industry is property funnels. Yeah,
Wow. Well, Renata, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day.
sure.
And we hope to make it even busier. Your campaigns are about to run. We're getting up to 2 o'clock,
Yes,
so we've got a
yes.
few more coming up. So I won't keep you for much longer, but thank you
Yes.
again for your time. Thank you for investing your energy and for your positivity. It really does make a big difference, and we are really pleased to have you as a part of the family in Property
And
Funnels.
David, I want to thank you for all your hard work, for your wisdom, for your knowledge, for your understanding, and also for being so helpful and being such a nice person. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Renata.
Alrighty. Okay. Ciao.